2025. Now time to call the Mitchell County Board of Commission work section of order. First order of business will be Mr. Rice, amend the agenda.
Yes, sir, Mr. Ben. Gentlemen, I'd like to amend the agenda tonight to remove the executive session for personnel matters. We will still need to go into executive session for the litigation update, but the personnel matters, I'd like to remove that from the agenda.
Need a motion.
A motion to amend the agenda.
Second. Then vote motion second that we amend the agenda, so it will be amended. Mr. Rice.
Okay, gentlemen, the first item on the agenda tonight is our discussion about the T-Splosh projects. And I'm gonna ask Mr. Jerry if he would to cover that one for us.
Gentlemen, have been discussed in previous meetings this year. There will be the need to renew our T-Splosh, which of course will come up in the November election time frame. But Mr. Ben sent out notices to all of the cities a couple of weeks ago urging the cities to go ahead and proceed with beginning to identify their projects. The individual projects do not have to be identified necessarily, but what does need to be identified is, and to be sure that everyone's in compliance, just generally, the projects have to be consistent with a statewide strategic transportation plan. Funds can only be used for transportation projects and purposes only. Can be used for transportation related debt, which includes general obligation debt that is on projects that are transportation related, lease purchases for transportation related equipment, and to repay Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank. Having said that, we will need to identify the areas of interest that the County Commission has. We hope to bring projects for your consideration in May, and hopefully have it ready for y'all to have some final decisions in June. Prepare a master list of all the projects of the cities along with the county in June. Have our first official meeting. I have talked with the regional commission, and they said they would be proud to manage the meetings for us. There would be the official meeting would be late June, early July. Then we would come back together, execute the intergovernmental agreements between the county and all the cities, and then a final approval of the resolution calling for a referendum. Hope to get it executed in August, and then the election in November. The current T-Splosh list of projects as we had bridge project, we had roads, and I think that was the two areas for the current. As I said, they don't have to be identified individually, but collectively as to whether it's roads, bridges, and debt. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jerry. All right, gentlemen, next item on the agenda is the estimated rollback rate. As you know, House Bill 581, and then again this year, House Bill 92, was some revisions to House Bill 581, and there are several things that we've got to do. The first thing I'll tell you that we have to do under the revisions is that any local government that opted out of House Bill 581, which is us, will have to add a disclaimer to the tax bill this year stating the name of the government authority that opted out of House Bill 581 and provide a main phone number to contact that government authority. So as you look through these revisions, it's very clear that they wanted us to opt in. No doubt about that. But so that's one thing we know we'll have to do for the tax bills this year. But it also established a estimated rollback rate, and it gave us some guidance from ACCG. Mr. Jerry and Samantha and I sat in on a webinar last week listening to ACCG and GMA. It was a joint webinar talking about the estimated rollback rate and how it would work. And it basically gives us two options this year. The first option is that the levying or recommending authority must certify the rate, the estimated rollback rate, by formal vote and provide the rate to the County Board of Assessors and Tax Commissioner no less than 15 days prior to the postmark on the annual notice of assessment. If we do that, then the notice of assessment will not include the estimated taxes owed, which is where we always got all the questions last year, is when we send out the NOA, it would show an estimated tax before we ever set the millage rate. So, you know, people are always calling about that. And so if we do certify a estimated rollback rate, then we will not have to put the estimated taxes on there. If we fail to certify that and provide an estimated rollback rate by the deadline, then the NOA will have to have last year's millage rate and the estimated taxes included on that NOA. They did tell us in calculating the estimated rollback rate that the board may wish to be conservative when calculating the rollback rate and take into consideration current budget discussions and early estimates of the reassessed growth, which may change before you set your actual millage rate later in the year. And as we talked to and talked through this with Kenny and Mr. Jerry and Samantha and I last week, I think that we feel pretty comfortable that we would like to advertise our estimated rollback rate at last year's millage rate, which was 18.0. And the reason for that is that if we either, and the estimated rollback rate is not going to be the actual rollback rate that we get from DOR. That we'll only get that once we've got all the assessments done and we put it into the PT 32-1 with the tax digest. That's when they will give us the true estimated rollback rate. Either way, either if it's on the estimated or on the actual rollback rate, there's no difference. If we exceed that, we still got to have the 3 public hearings like we do anytime we have a tax increase. And so our goal has been, Mr. Jerry and I early on, is to have some type of decrease this year in taxes. And so if we go with the estimated rollback rate, if we set that at 18 as we're suggesting to you, then if we have any kind of rollback at all, then there would be no need to have the 3 public hearings, and we could move on with finishing our budget process when it gets to that time. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. I'll be glad to share these documents with you so you can read through it. I've also got a copy of the webinar that we did. I'll email that out to you as well so you can look at it. But what we'll be asking, unless we have some big change, is that we will need to certify that rollback rate. And again, we're going to be proposing the 18 mills as our estimated rollback rate, and we'll need to get that certified at the next meeting. So, any questions on that? All right, next thing I got is some legislative updates. Just want to give you a quick update on it. What I've got is ACCG's preliminary, gotta love it, preliminary final legislative report. and it covers the bills that passed. I'm gonna talk about those a little bit. I won't go into the bills that didn't pass, but keep in mind, this is not the final, because the governor has 40 days that he can sign or veto a bill. So even though some of these passed, they may not get the governor's signature, but I highlighted some through here that will be some changes for us. House Bill 137, the Public Works bidding threshold was increased from 100,000 to 250,000, which will be a big benefit to us. I do believe this bill passed last year and the governor vetoed it. So we'll have to watch and see what happened with that. House Bill 185, annex arbitration process revisions. Then you've got, the governor had, his big thing this year was the governor's tort reform package. That passed, and upon his signature, that'll go into law. There is, under public safety in the courts, House Bill 85 is the Superior Court Judicial Compensation Reform. We're gonna have to watch that one very close. It's talking about taking away some of the county supplements and coming out of the General Assembly funds, but we just need to watch and see how that affects everything else that comes down with it. House Bill 179 did pass. That is digital recordings for court reporting. So starting to go away from in-person a little bit. House Bill 90 increases CUVA acreage limit to 4,000 acres. It currently stands at 2,000. This would become effective January 1st of 2027, contingent upon ratification of the constitutional amendment during the November 2026 statewide election. So that will be on the ballot. We'll need to watch that one close. House Bill 129 did pass, and actually will be signed into law by the governor. If it does, it'll go into effect January 1st of 2026, and that allows CUVA properties to be leased to non-qualifying entities without a breach of the contract. So where we've got to be real careful and watch this one is that in the past, when we've had properties in CUVA that went into solar production, when they started producing, they went into commercial. Well, according to this bill, they may be able to stay under CUVA, which will cost us money if that occurs. So we've got to watch that one pretty close. And that's the last one that I've got. There was some study committees that were formed. A study committee on Next Gen 911 we'll be looking at. A House study committee on elections. You know, there was 2 or 3 bills from election standpoint this year. So just there's one actually, a study committee on artificial intelligence and digital currency. So just a lot of different things there, but those were the bills that passed this year that I thought was of biggest interest to us. Currently, there was a slew of bills that did not pass, but keep in mind this is the first year of a 2-year cycle. And just because it didn't make it this year, don't mean it can't make it next year. So we'll watch that as we go forward. So, any questions on that, gentlemen? All right, next item on the agenda is my report. I only have a couple things to report on. The first one being Mr. McCook has worked very closely with Golden Triangle. Golden Triangle last year was able to secure funding in 2-year cycle from Representative Bishop, and they have got a heavy equipment simulator. Mr. McCook's been working with them within the next month or hopefully 2, that he plans on hosting that simulator here and allowing other counties to come in to train. It's got several different modules. It can cover the motor graders, it can cover the front end loaders, excavators. So Mr. McCook's working to get that over here to us, and the plan, I believe, is to take it to the Ag Center put it up under the shelter down there and leave it for a couple of weeks so we can get as many people trained as we can. Next item is the 2025 LMIG, which we also included the LRA funding in. That went out to bid today. It was posted, and we will be getting those bids back in, hopefully with a bid award through y'all for May the 13th. That hopefully we'll have those back to be able to award the bid for the LMIG. And last thing, just as a note on the courthouse, Commissioner Bostic, I know you asked me to get a RFP done. That RFP is completed. It has not been let yet simply because we have got to, the property that we've got out there on Highway 37 will have to be annexed into the city. Mr. Britt's looking into the process for that. I've talked to Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben and I are going to go talk to the mayor about that. And the reason we didn't let the RFP is that if we can't get that in, instead of having a one-story building, we're going to have to find something probably within the city and go up 2 or 3 stories, just depending on what it takes. So didn't want to get the cart before the horse on that, so we'll get busy on trying to get the property annexed in, and then it's ready to go, Mr. Reggie. We've got some preliminary drawings, and we also, I went down to Grady County and looked at theirs and got some good ideas that we'll be putting in. So hopefully by the time we get it annexed, we'll have a pretty good plan before we put it out there for the drawings. But we'll stay on top of that. That's all I got, Mr. Ben.
Mr. Jones. Mr. Bostic. You ever think from the 4-H club?
No, sir. I'll check.
Supposed to have a award banquet for the hog show winners and other kids in 4-H tomorrow.
I'll check that, Mr. Ben, and get back with you.
Financial?
Nothing to report, sir.
Nothing to report. County attorney?
Nothing to report in work session. I do have some litigation items to discuss with the board if it goes into executive session.
Okay. Road department? CI? 911? Mr. Moody? Economic development?
I'll just let you know, we've received the information on the Georgia transmission land, and our attorney was reviewing that, so we're working forward with that process, so happy to work with you on that.
Did anything come out of your meeting you was in Atlanta or something recent? I saw a picture in the magazine.
See, Atlanta was the GEDA, so that was Georgia Economic Development Association. We do an annual report up there, and I actually have some copies at my office I'd be happy to bring in if you'd like those, but it's what we do in our 23 counties here in South Georgia to try to bring industry in. It was a good opportunity to go up there and be a part of that, and to, sorry, no, I was going to go into such detail, but go up there and be a part of that and meet with all of the economic developers throughout this part of the state and representatives in Atlanta. So we were able to present there to people from, of course, Georgia Power and Electric Cities of Georgia and EMC, as well as GDEC and some of the other places in Atlanta who were helping us bring things in. So I think it was a successful trip and a good opportunity to be a part of that. So, and we'll continue to.
Tell us a little bit about your library.
I do that. From the city of Pelham's part, we were very fortunate to get some federal money to work on the historic Carnegie Library in Pelham, which has been an operating library for since 1908. We've temporarily had to move out of it because it's in such bad shape. For about 8 years now, we've been working with the state to try to get state funding to do work on the library. And it's kind of come together this year that it's now in bad enough shape that we kind of got bumped up on the list and we're able to work with our local legislators. And with the $2.4 million in federal funding we got for the rehab of the historic building part, we were able to then use that as matching funds to leverage another $3 million from the state that will come in to add on to the building, give the additional resource space needed, as well as some of the resources that are needed within the library, some of the computer infrastructure and stuff like that to help move the library forward and make it more viable in the future. So we're working very hard to figure out how to create this new section, this new addition that will be attached to the original historic building, while we're at the same time refurbishing the historic building and making it all work well together. So it's a great opportunity. We've been working, again, for 8 years trying to get something going with this, and have just, run up to roadblock after roadblock, and now it seems the floodgates have kind of opened for us to figure out how to move forward. So we're putting that together and very excited to have that opportunity in Pelham. I think that's going to be a huge asset to everyone in the county to really have an updated library.
Thank you. Any citizens would like to come before the Board of Commission? Any of y'all came in late, y'all like to have anything to say?
Can I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
If you will, come to the mic, please, ma'am, and state your name.
How y'all doing this evening?
Good.
I've been a resident of Mitchell County since 1994. I have 6 children, 2 stepkids. Lived on Bags Ferry Road since 2002. My name is Sandra Fuentes Ramirez. I want the road paved. I'm tired of repairing vehicles. I hit a pothole the other day, busted my front end. I ain't complaining to the city. I ain't asking for money to fix it, but I'm asking y'all to fix the road. It's time to pave Bags Ferry Road. It's time. Me and my grandkids, we go out on the summertime, we pick up the trash, the dirty diapers, the bottles of beer, whatever, couches, furniture they throw out because they're not picking the garbage up, they're not maintaining the road. They scrape the road the day before it rains. That's when they scrape it. Okay? I've loved the dirt road these years, but I'm not liking it no more. I'm getting up in age. I can't afford to keep fixing my vehicles. I need this road paved. I've got a petition. I've got 70 names so far on this petition to have it paved. Not only my children, but my grandkids travel up and down this road all the time to see me and my mother. I have a 78-year-old mom that lives with me as well. And then my stepmother just moved in. She's 80 years old. Can't keep repairing their cars either. I need it paved. What can we do?
You want to say, Ms. Rice, something?
I'm going to answer, Mr. Ben, I was writing this down.
Just a minute.
Ms. Ramirez, as we talked on the phone, I told you the process that we would be going through, and that is,
Nice to meet you, by the way.
we talked about the T-Splosh earlier today, and what that money could be used for.
Yes, sir.
I think that when we talked, I told you that I would get the engineer to look at that road for us and see if it would be a road that could qualify for some kind of grant or anything, or that we could be using it for that. But,
Yes, sir.
It's not gonna happen quickly. I'm not gonna tell you it's gonna happen. What I can tell you is the same thing I told you on the phone, is that I'll get the engineer to look at it, and we will try to do what we can to make that road better for you. That's all I can tell you at this point in time, until he looks at it and we see how that road grades out with the rest of them in the county.
Yes, sir, I understand.
So, but we
I just want
will.
my voice to be heard because I'm a taxpayer just like everybody else.
I hear
And I
you.
love Mitchell County, I love the people of Mitchell County. Been here since, like I said, 1994, and I love it here. So, but I appreciate y'all's time.
And I'll tell you what I can do. I can follow up with you once we get the engineer to look at it. I've got your number.
Okay.
Tried to call you back today, but I'll give you a call once we get that road looked at.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other citizens would like to come? Y'all together?
We're together.
Okay. Commissioner Jones, you have anything?
No, sir.
Commissioner Boston? That's it. We need to go into executive section.
Offer motion and go into executive session to discuss potential litigation or pending litigation.
Second. And both motions second that we go into executive session to discuss potential litigation update. Is there any further discussion? Not. Ready to vote? Unanimous vote to be did.
James.
James.